Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, post stream or live stream. Appreciate your support. We are here live today to discuss the Colts offensive line. I thought this would be a nice little situation, and none other than Lawrence Orange is going to join me, the film guru. Appreciate you for joining. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just living a day by day. Taking the time. Today we're going to talk some offensive line in the trenches, man. I need to get your thoughts on the offensive line situation and how it's currently standing, and how you think they're going to perform before Eric Fisher returns. I think that's a nice subject to talk about before the season starts. So let me get your thoughts on the offensive line now first.
Well, the one thing that I am kind of okay about is the fact that the Colts don't play a lot of like really top end defensive end pass rushers, right? I mean, obviously we play um, guys like Aaron Donald, who's more of a defensive tackle, but he can move around. The Seattle went and picked up a guy, but I don't know how good he's going to be because he's nearing the end of his career, things of that nature. Tevy had his issues with speed rushers along the edge. Whenever there was a tight end or a running back that was able to chip him inside to help him control that speed around the edge, he seemed to do pretty good over there at the Chargers. And the Colts have some of the best run blocking or pass blocking tight ends in the league with Doyle and Mo Alley Cox. So I expect a few schemes where you're going to see some tight end chips to help Tevy out a little bit. But yeah, I think before Eric Fisher comes in, I think that the Colts will be better than what a lot of people expect.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Shout out to the ones in the chat. William said he remembered this time. I have come early. I will not fail you again. It's all good. He asked if Lucas was going to be on this one. Unfortunately, not. I don't think so. I think he's busy. Shout out to the great Patriots fans in the building. He said all that matters is Big Q, the best lineman in the game. Hey, man, at least he knows. But yeah, man, I think the offensive line will have their moments. Of course, I don't think it's going to be the best without the starting left tackle in the situation. But I think being as though Tevy has experience at the left tackle, I think we'll be formidable, and I think we'll be good enough until Fisher returns. Now, the other situation is Eric Fisher returning. Is he going to be his normal self? If not, and I said this. I said even if Tevy, if he does overperform than we expect, this could be good for him in the future because this could be a deal lined up for him. And if we move on from him, and Eric Fisher come back and he's his normal self, this could be a good time for Sam Terry to actually step up and show that, hey, I could be the starting left tackle. You don't need Eric Fisher. You have me. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, when was the last time Sam Tevy had a guy like Quentin Nelson beside him? Never. So, I mean, he could outperform expectations on this offensive line. And if that happens, absolutely, this could be a huge benefit not only for the Colts, but for Tevy himself long term with the Indianapolis Colts. I completely and utterly agree. And if he does, great. That means Eric Fisher can sit out a little bit longer and, get more and more healthy and more aligned with, not only the playbook, but the guys around him and how the running backs like to block and understand the tendencies of the quarterback before he actually steps in, if he steps in.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think us depth wise, this could be a good thing. If Tevy performs, he holds himself accountable, and he does good because we've seen some rough left tackles, and I don't think Sam Tevy is that bad at all, especially from what we previously had. This is no knock on the previous left tackle, but the Travis Greens of the world in that situation. We've seen that, but I think Tevy, having that experience and having Quentin Nelson beside him, who's a vet, that did the same thing with Jared Bell here. They didn't know the playbook, but pitched it play by play on the snap. And I think Tevy, going through OTAs and all these things, actually knowing the playbook, is going to go a long way into the season. And I think, us having these battle of the trenches at the early of the season, I think this is going to be a good test, but I think we can pull it off with Tevy, man.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. You put a big mention on people worrying they want that elite left tackle for the Colts, but you kind of touched on it. about the guys like LaRaven Clark and Chaz Green that filled in at left tackle. They were not anywhere near average. They weren't even, in my opinion, legitimate backups, right? For the tackle position, at least the left tackle, that most important blindside tackle. Tevy's at least an average guy, and that's going to play out to be a huge benefit as opposed to what we saw last year when Anthony Costanzo went out.
Yeah, man, 100%. Uh, Definitely looking forward to the beginning of this year, man. I was talking with Cody earlier about the offensive line situation and the offense and everything about the potential. We mentioned, I mentioned to him like the preseason is going to be a big deal for some of these guys that that don't really get a lot of minutes, like the Ben Vandergools of the world, and the Sam Elligers and Jacob Eason quarterback battle. I made a video about Patrick Mahomes working out with Sam Elliger, and I said that could be a big deal going into this preseason. Him learning some mechanics from Mahomes himself. I mentioned him being a future Hall of Famer. Some people thought I was crazy, but I was like, hey, he could retire tomorrow and make it. They letting anybody in at this day. But let me know your thoughts on who are you looking forward to for this preseason to really, make their statement out there on the field.
Well, obviously, we need to know who's going to be that number 2 outside cornerback. I think that's going to be established not only in training camp but in preseason as well. I want to know who that next linebacker is going to be. That's a big situation as well. Outside of Darius Leonard, Bobby Okereke, there's huge question marks. Who will be that Sam linebacker when they're in base formation? Who's going to be the guy that'll come in and breathe either of those guys when they need the breaks, or if, knock on wood, something happens and they need to replace him for a little while. You touched on the Ben Banagoos and those, the defensive end position most definitely needs to be kind of ironed out this offseason before the season starts. Huge deal in that aspect. And really, to me, who's going to be that 5, 6, 7 wide receiver? Who's going to make the roster? We have got a lot of very young, high ceiling guys that we don't know right about, outside of T.Y. Hilton and Paris Campbell and I could even put Paris Campbell in that position, but Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, outside of those 4 guys who we know are going to make the team, who's going to make that roster? Because we had some guys last year that stepped up and looked pretty good when they were called upon, and we went out and we've got a couple guys now this year as well to fight with them. Who's going to be able to make the team, whether it's because they're really good at special teams like a Doolin, or is Michael Straughn going to make the team? I don't know. And, do you worry about if someone's going to be snagged up before you're able to get them on the practice squad? If you do cut them off to 53, that's going to be another issue, that's going to have to come into consideration in that wide receiver group. So, there's a lot of positions. I mean, generally not your starters. Your defensive end is a position that's a starter, I think, that'll be looked at. And then, of course, your CB number 2 outside cornerback.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I tell people all the time that I still, root for Rocky Sin. I think he's still going to win that position. And I think that he's a more experienced guy, more developed. Now, of course, Marvell Tell and Rogers, they got potential, but Rocky Sin has seen some of the best wide receivers already matched up and when he was on the field. Marvell Tell, he had his certain plays when he played, but Isaiah Rogers, he had the playoffs, but I think more battle tested. I think Rocky Sin's been battle tested more than any of them, so I think he will actually get the nod over them for the CB spot. But I know it's still open. Shout out to Tino and Inside the Horseshoe podcast for popping in. But yeah, when it comes to that, I think DeMichael Harris is a sleeper guy that can make the roster. He's shown flashes in that Ravens game, with those jet sweeps and everything. But if he happens to hit the practice squad or he get picked up, maybe he might go to a team like Jacksonville. With that wild offense with all those versatile guys and speedy receivers, I think he could fit well there. If he gets picked up somewhere else, and we happen to let him go on accident, but we got a lot of receivers that can make this roster. and it's going to be a tough battle, man. But I think that Michael Harris is one of those guys I was rooting for last year, but I think he could be a really secret weapon. He's very fast too and super talented.
Oh, absolutely. And when it comes to the cornerback battle, don't forget TJ Carey.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually the second best ranked cornerback on the team last year, right behind Xavier Rhodes. You know, he was even ranked higher than Kenny Moore last season. He came in when Rocky Sin went down, or was taken out due to his penalty calls the last couple games of the season. He played outstanding. He did a very good job. Obviously, he's better suited to the nickel or dime position, much like Kenny Moore. But he showed flashes that, you know, he's going to be in that fight with the CB2 outside cornerback position as well. The wide receiver. See, a lot of Colts fans wanted us to go out and draft high on a wide receiver in the draft, or go out and get a big time wide receiver, you know, during free agency, or, you know, the Julio Jones thing, you know, was going on. We are deep. The Colts are very young and very deep at the wide receiver position, with a lot of potential there. The problem is sifting through that potential and finding who is going to be that standout guy that the Colts are going to need, and that's going to be all up on the coaches this offseason.
Yeah, man, 100%. It's going to be that. You mentioned wide receivers in free agency. We talked earlier about Golden Tate. You know, him talking about he wants the three teams he wanted to play for. Two of them is in this division with the Colts and Titans, and the other team is the Rams. And I was telling Cody earlier, I was like, man, you know, Golden Tate, he picked three good teams because he knows he's going to flourish in any system. But I think if he really wanted to actually get the ball more, you look at the certain teams, I think, you know, the Rams are already loaded with receivers. Then you got the Titans, who is pretty much loaded of what they're going to do with moving the football. But you look at the Colts, you're like, okay, you got a bunch of players here, but you know, a guy that like Golden Tate, or where he could fit on the field, he's a good route technician. I think he could really prosper in the Indianapolis system. Let me know your whole thoughts if you ain't mentioned that already in one of your videos.
No, I haven't. I haven't discussed Golden Tate at all, and I have been on the complete and utter opposite end of what all the Colts fans have been talking about, including yourself. I don't think. I think Golden Tate needs the Colts more than the Colts need Golden Tate. I really do. That I don't see Tate bringing something to the team that they don't already have. When you're talking about a small, quick route running type wide receiver, we already have a guy in T.Y. Hilton that does very similar things to what Golden Tate does. You want a fast guy that goes over the middle. If Paris Campbell can stay healthy, he's got the potential to be one of the most dynamic slot receivers in the NFL. And Tate ain't going anywhere against Michael Pittman or Zach Pascal when it comes to the 50-50 possession receivers. And the only thing that Tate brings to the table is familiarity with the new quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. That's what he brings. All right. But Carson's going to have the entire offseason, and he's been using that entire offseason to get familiarity with these Colts receivers all over them. I mean, Carson's getting ready to host him in Arizona sometime this next month before training camp starts, you know, and having throw rounds and just getting to know each other. So I'm not big on Golden Tate. Another issue with Golden Tate coming on, if we sign Golden Tate, that's another wide receiver position gone, and another slot that our young guys that we just got done talking about, like Doolin, like Strawn, like DeMichael Harris.
Mm-hmm.
That's another guy that'll be gone that won't get the chance to develop on the Colts team and find out what they're like. So, you know, you got to take the positives and the pros and the cons to signing him. I would rather see what we could do with one of the young guys rather than bringing in Golden Tate, who's 32 years old. Who
Veteran
knows?
minimum contract, veteran minimum.
Yeah, but you know, long term, I think it hurts the Colts. Short term, it might help, but long term, I think it ends up hurting the Colts because you're not developing an extra player.
Yeah, but you know, developing an extra player that goes into effect of like the Ben Bandigers of the world. You know, our roster has always been deep, and a lot of players do not see the field when they should. Look at Ben Bandigood. Look at Isaiah Rodgers is another good one. We seen him flourish in the playoff game against the Bills, and you see he's only good for special teams. It's like the system we run. Some people just don't see the field. It's unfortunate, but I totally agree with you on that situation. I gave the pros and cons on the Golden Tate. I said it's a veteran minimum deal, so we won't be losing anything if we get him.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, and I mentioned it, I said, it's going to be taken away from the reps of the wide receivers that needs to see the field that is young and productive. I said, what the experience what Golden Tate has, Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, he can give advice to the wide receivers, but I would like to see the young guys get the reps more. But I definitely agree with you. So it's no loss if we do get them, but it is the loss on the reps on the young wide receivers in that core. But yeah, man, definitely agree. Another thing I was saying with that situation is that some of these Super Bowl teams are very deep on depth. If somebody goes down, they always got that plug-in guy that can just come in and takes the wheels off. The Buccaneers last year were loaded on talent. Like, who knew Scotty Miller was going to go out there and be one of the fastest wide receivers out there for that team? I just think adding people like this with the depth we have is we are in a good comparison like the Buccaneers last year. We are deep. We are very deep.
I agree, but in that aspect, the only difference is with the Buccaneers, a lot of their depth is age. They don't have those young guys there that once they fall off or are on the team no more, who's going to replace those guys, right? Whereas the Colts, they've been building through the draft, building with young players, grabbing specifically who they want. They're going to have those guys to rotate in that, the guys that they want young, that'll be long term. Whereas, like I said, the team with the Buccaneers, especially on offense, they got a lot of older guys, and when they retire or ain't unable to make plays, where are they going to turn to? That's a problem. So, I like what Chris Ballard is doing with the Indianapolis Colts roster. I love the fact that he's grabbing the young guys and getting who he wants. And then he uses free agency to fill those spots so that he's not drafting well or just can't seem to find that impact player at that position, like that 3 tech, like the quarterback position, right? Where you got to have somebody that's good at that position. So I'm okay with the way Ballard's going about it. So
yeah, man, me too, 100%. Ballard's process right now is just remarkable. Shout out to Cameron for just popping in. Shout out to him. Yeah, he said he agrees with you. But I agree. The Ballard process has been, it's been a chess move this whole time. A lot of Colts fans do not like it, but they do not see the bigger picture in the situation. Unfortunately, we do. And, Chris Ballard as well, his process is, staying young, keeping the team together. You look at the process, you mentioned the players that, the fill-ins of the draft ones. He drafted like a few corners and everything, but he bought some players back that worked out last year, like Xavier Rhodes and the TJ Carries. He could have went out and got somebody else. He could have been got Richard Sherman, but he knows that Rhodes and Carey are familiar with the system that we're running. So he's going to run it back with those guys, and we're still one of the youngest teams in the NFL. So they are the oldest ones on the roster. So I love the process that he's doing. We're staying young, and also the bonus part of this process is that we're contending. Most teams that are young like this are not making the playoffs, rebuilding through the draft and things like this, but we're actually contending year in and year out. So we're only getting better during this process, and that's what some people don't understand with this Ballard move that he's doing. Is that we're actually contending. If we were losing, I would understand that. But we're actually making the playoffs. So I love this whole process that he's doing. Totally, man.
Yeah, the one thing that's going to start popping up here pretty soon that Colts fans are going to be really upset with, and we saw it this offseason for the first time, is because Ballard is building the way he's building, here pretty soon you're going to start seeing turnover, especially with players that, are fan favorites, like Anthony Walker. Right. Had to let him go. Why? Because, well, we couldn't afford to give him $10 million a year. And on top of that, we have other depth at linebacker. Anthony Walker's a solid linebacker, but we wanted to get Bobby Okereke more full-time snaps. Anthony Walker wants to be a full-time starter, not sharing snaps. So he, it was best for both teams to move on. you're going to have situations where you're going to have a lot of rollover with really good players because Ballard actually drafts very, very well. And you can't give everyone the big contract. You can't keep everybody, and it's going to suck. But that's going to show how good your depth and your starters are on your team, how well-rounded your team is when you start having to let go of some of your favorite players.
Yeah, man. What's up with Mike and Justin? Appreciate you two for dropping in. We'll ask you a question in a second, Justin. But just to piggyback off of that, the leaving of Anthony Walker, we could have literally kept him if we wanted. But I think Chris Ballard knew that he will flourish somewhere else, and get more rep in another system than what we're running right now because he sees the potential of what we got. So I think that has something to do with, Anthony Walker leaving with Cleveland. It's never that we didn't like him or anything or we couldn't pay him, but I just think he'll flourish more in another system.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think the Colts loved Anthony Walker. I mean, last year he had a better passer rating. He had the best linebacker passer rating over Darius Leonard last year. Defensive wise, more tackles. He's had more. He led the team in tackles the last 2 seasons. Anthony Walker has. The only issue is we had Bobby Okereke. We wanted to give him more snaps. Anthony Walker wants to have a more of a full-time position.
Right.
And the Colts were willing to, say, hey, for your benefit, go out there, find a team that'll do that. I get it. I was upset that the Browns only gave him $3.5 million for one season. It sucks because you look at that and you go, well, the Colts could have afforded that. Well, absolutely they could have. But at the same time, that's going to be holding back Bobby Okereke. That's also going to upset Anthony Walker if he signed that because he's not going to get 90% of the defensive snaps, because he would be sharing with Okereke. And, we wanted to give him that opportunity. The only reason why he only got a $3.5 million 1-year contract was because it was COVID season. And, team salary caps went way, way down. So he's got a 1-year prove-it deal with the Cleveland Browns, which I believe he's going to blow up, probably be one of their best front 7 players on that defense. And he'll probably get that $8-10 million contract after this coming season.
Yeah, man, 100% agree on that. Shout out to Trevor for dropping in. Let's go ahead and answer that question Justin brought up earlier. He said, how many old linemen do you think will make the final 53 roster? He said he's thinking 10.
I got 9. The only reason I got 9 is because I think the defensive line will have 10.
Right. Yeah, we talked about the defensive line earlier. And I was like, man, it's going to be tough to see some people go, man, and especially all the ones we just acquired and things like that. But I don't know, man. It's going to be a crazy process in this offseason. See who's not going to make the roster.
Yeah. See, the thing about offensive line, obviously, we've held a lot of offensive linemen. I think one season we held 11 with Chris Ballard. But that was because we didn't have a good grasp on the depth, how good that depth was. And they were still, trying to vie who was going to be the backups, who was going to step in. LaRaven Clark and Chaz Green and all these other guys that were, weren't doing very well, but they had high hopes on and didn't want to let them go. Now that they're not on the team no more, they also have a little bit more understanding of how good each player is it's not just potential, it's actual floor that they understand is higher, which means that they're going to end up probably only carrying 9 on the offensive line, whereas the defense, there's a lot of second round picks on that defensive line that have to prove it this year. And, this is that year that they need to prove it. So I think that they'll hold that extra guy on the D line.
Yeah, man, I agree 100%. Got some questions rolling in before you get up out of here. He said, thoughts on Dio? And he says Dio is one of the most underrated defensive prospects from this draft this year. He's going to ball.
Well, I got a couple minutes left before I have to go and get ready for my own stream, but I will answer the Dio Odangbo. I would. Okay, so I think Dio is the most underrated play. He's probably my favorite player in this that was drafted this season by Ballard. I don't expect him to play this year. He might the last few games. I definitely don't see him before week 9. I think he's definitely going to start IR. Probably won't see much of a blow up on him. He's going to have to not only recover from the surgery on his Achilles, but then he's going to have to get back in shape. Then he's going to have to learn the scheme. Then he's going to have to understand playing beside the guys that he's playing with. He's going to need that time that normal players would generally have with the off season, training camp, and preseason during the regular season after he's ready to come back. So that's going to be a problem because he's a rookie, unlike Eric Fisher, who is a veteran and understands that he can just step in when he's ready and play. So I'm expecting next year to be Dio's big year, but this year I'm really not expecting a whole lot. But I love the pick. I love that, every time you saw him take a snap in college, he was giving 150%, just like a crazy Tasmanian devil trying to burst through an offensive line to make plays in the backfield and just create havoc back there. I love it. And once he gets healthy enough to where the coaches and the other defensive linemen DeForest Buckner, because they're kind of similar in build and style, kind of work with him a little bit to kind of get him up to NFL level. And then of course, Robert Mathis over there teaching guys. I think I'm not expecting much this year, but I think next year will be that year that will be really, really great. And that's going to be great because we picked up a guy. We're not going to have a first round pick next year, right? So we've got a guy that will be coming in next year that a lot of people believed was a first round talent, before he got the Achilles injury. So I'm okay. I'm not blah. I will learn how to speak English sometime this week. But I'm okay with where they picked Dio, and I'm really excited for his future, just not his immediate future.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He definitely has the potential, very high ceiling. Adding him on that line next to DeForest Buckner with that wingspan and what he can do, same type of skill set, that's going to be a deadly interior when he's on the field matched up. And I love the process of him getting healthy and actually training and everything, because I know he's going to come back the season after. Even if he has a rookie slump, it's better to have a rookie slump than a sophomore slump, if we're being honest. So I definitely think he'll come back second year way better than the first year and play more time too. So I agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But I appreciate you. I'm not going to hold you any longer. I know you got a stream. I appreciate you for joining my show. Thank you. You know where to find me. But this is Lawrence Orange, man. You guys go ahead and drop in his stream whenever you can. When I'm done, leave a like and also subscribe if you haven't too. Appreciate you for joining us, Lawrence.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. I enjoyed this second one. I just got done talking Bring the Juice with Cody right before I came on here, just like you did. And man, and then I come in here and talk with you. Now I'm getting ready to do my own stream here in a half an hour, making up for not having content this past week, actually. So appreciate you having me on, guys. If you're watching this, please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell, and make sure that all notifications are turned on, because YouTube's funky like that.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. I know some people be live and I don't even get a notice, so I definitely have to, re-noti up for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for having me on, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good one, man.
All right, I'm out. No problem, man. See you. That was Lawrence Owen. Appreciate him for stopping by. Let's go ahead and hop back into the questions that you guys are asking. Mike said, Elliger or Eason would do better in the preseason. I got Elliger all the way. I love Elliger. I think, he has a very good potential. This is no knock on Eason. I think Eason has the arm strength and everything, but I think for a dual threat and who's more talented, I think it's going to be Sam Elliger, no question. He said, in which undrafted free agent and late receiver draft pick wins a roster spot, Black Vaughn or Strachan? I think Strachan wins that with the height, and I think with the height and the ability to catch the jump ball, I think they're going to take the risk and go get him on the spot. Other than besides Black and Vaughn, I think they'll be on the practice squad though, but I think Strachan wins that spot. He said, "Are we confident in beating out the Titans this year?" Of course, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I am super confident in beating the Titans this year. So there's no knock on the Titans at all either. I just think we have a better chance of beating them this year, especially if we stay healthy. Because durability played a role last year and it won. So definitely agree on that. But how was everyone's week? Um, Feel free to let me know. I just can't wait for the season to start, man. This season's gonna be exciting, man. It's gonna be a nice season. The potential is skyrocketed. You got so much potential out there. You don't know who's gonna do what, but it's gonna be interesting. I see someone's trolling me on Twitter, but it's all good. Busy week for sure, man. What'd you do? What'd you do, man? Did you work all week or? I mean, this week went by fast as well. How many of you guys are in on getting Golden Tate on the Colts? I know I'm a fan of getting him for the Colts. Justin said, which players do you think are at the risk of being a surprise cut this year? Um, Surprise cuts will probably be a guy like, I'm not saying he will be cut, but I think it'll be surprising is like a guy like Taylor Stallsworth. I think he'll probably be getting cut. Probably Ben Bandigu. If he gets cut, I'll be surprised by that. Um, Another surprising cut maybe will be a guy like hopefully DeMichael Harris doesn't get cut because that'd be surprising. It'd definitely hurt my heart because he has good potential as well. Um, but yeah, definitely. Desmond Patton, I mean, he probably could be potentially a practice squad receiver as well. Cameron said, worked all week. I own a music mag, so between editing and advertising, been wearing a lot of hats. Yeah, definitely. He said, Tate is a go for me. Mike said, Campbell, Patman, Rocky Sin to the door. Rocky Sin? Paris Campbell, what we doing here? Paris Campbell's going to definitely be on the roster. Paris Campbell would definitely be on the roster. That's no question. I know for sure Paris Campbell will be on the roster. Did anybody watch Darius Leonard's Instagram live yesterday? If you have, you probably seen me in there. Darius Leonard went live on Instagram yesterday. He brought up a bunch of situations. If you guys didn't join, you guys don't follow him on Instagram, you missed the show yesterday. It was a show. It was definitely a show. Darius Leonard talked a lot. He talked about him next year. He talked about Carson Wentz. He mentioned Carson Wentz, how good he's going to be. He mentioned Rocky Sin. He mentioned Andrew Luck. He mentioned a lot. He talked about a lot yesterday. I think you guys, if you didn't see that, it was very entertaining. I enjoyed myself. I know today's probably going to be a busy Friday, so I totally understand. But yeah, I just wanted to go live and chat with you guys for a little bit, talk about the Colts offensive line potentially, and I think Lawrence hit on it very well today. So I mean, it's good that I got his input. Cameron asks, "Are you still coming out to a game this year?" Yes, I will be at the Jets versus the Colts Thursday Night Football. So if you are going to be at that game, you probably will see me somewhere in that arena, walking around or tailgating. I'll be there somewhere. So you can look for me if you want. I'll be at the Colts and Jets game. Should be exciting. Looking for a big game. Looking for a big game against the Jets. Especially it's going to be televised too. So that's the game I wanted to go to. I know that place is going to be rocking on Thursday night. Oh, you got season tickets? Nice. Must be nice. Yep. I wish Frank Gore was still playing. Do you think Strachan's going to make the 53? I do. Appreciate you for stopping by. I do think he's going to make the 53. Now him actually playing, I think he's going to be a depth guy. I think he's going to be a depth guy for sure. I think he will make the roster though, for sure. Being though his height and the jump ball, I think he has potential. But like I said, it's going to be tough trying to fill that roster out, especially with all those wide receivers we got. Somebody's got to go. I don't know if Strachan will be the one. I mean, he could potentially not make a roster, but man, it's that's a tough situation. Appreciate you for stopping by, Justin, for sure. I won't be live for long. Um, which player are you guys looking forward to next season? Who do you really want to see? Don't give me the obvious answer like Paris Campbell, because that's an obvious one. Everybody's looking forward to seeing Paris Campbell next season. I need a video idea for tomorrow. Hopefully something sparks tonight. Oh, you said Carson? Yeah, 100%. 100% Carson. I'm wondering if Ty can make an immediate connection with Carson. Yeah, I think so. I think the OTAs and everything, training camps and the practices, preseason, I think all that helps going into next season. Um, that plays a big role in chemistry. And that's one thing that didn't have last year with Phillip Rivers and Ty. They didn't have OTAs due to the protocols and everything going on. So definitely think that that plays a role. You said Strachan. Yeah, man. If he makes the roster, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to that. Want to see something. You said Quiddy too? Yeah, absolutely. Quiddy Pay. What he pays is going to be a problem. Give me a second. See if this is a website. I happen to be on it as well. If you guys ever want to, find out Colts content or anything of that nature, this is a website you guys can check out. You see, I'm right here, just so I won't lie to you guys. This is me, Marcus, Culture Shock. I'm a part of this website. They got the podcasts up here, so you can check them out. Also, we're linked with Sports Fanatics Fan Gear. Check that out. The Blue Stable Podcast is the official podcast of Fanatics. So, they update their articles pretty much every week. So you can tune in for that. It's really good articles out there, especially if you want to contact any of us. We have a contacts page. Definitely check that out. Show some love. NFL season record predictions. Let's see, playoff predictor. So the randomizer has us losing. Tighten up. Shout out to you for popping up, Rude Boy. How you doing? What do you think about Rock? Seeing a lot of people give up on him. I agree, it's possibly a make or break year for him, but I still think he'd be very good. Yeah, Rocky Sin is really good. Like I said earlier, most rookies that have a good rookie year go through a sophomore slump, so they don't really produce like they usually do. But it takes some corners a while for them to go out there and produce. So I mean, to actually learn the position. So I think for Rocky Sin's sake, I think he's one of those guys that definitely for sure it's going to take a while for him to develop. I just think he has to be more disciplined at the position. But I think he's a really good corner. He has a very high ceiling as well, a good support cast. And if the pass rush is as any good as we expect them to be, I think he's going to have a big year. I really do. Yes, discipline. Yeah, man, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, he had a decent first year, man. His rookie year was really good. He had the most tackles that year. You see here he declined on tackling. So that's another big thing that played a role in his struggle. He wasn't tackling like he usually does. I mean, he did get an interception in 2 years, so it's no knock on that. But he had more passes deflected last year. Nobody talks about. Like I said, he just has to be more disciplined. There's nothing wrong with him at all. He just has to be more disciplined. Yeah, man. He's a good corner, though. He really is. He's only been in the league for 2 years, too. That's what most people seem to forget. So Jeff Saturday or Big Q? Big Q, easily. It's no knock on Jeff Saturday, but I think Big Q is way more valuable. Hopefully, having camp with Xavier and Kenny both this year would be good for him. Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. He can learn a lot from them. Do the Colts finally win week one versus Seattle? Now, that's a tough one. That's a tough question because we do seem to struggle at week one, and the Seahawks seem to be good at week one. So it'll be a test. Um, if we do lose, it'll probably be by 3. But I definitely think we can win week one easily. Not easily, but I think we can win week one for sure. Definitely do. Russell Wilson is a good quarterback, but I think if our pass rush is any good as we predict him to be, I think he'll have a long day. A very long day. Did you guys hear about them moving potentially the draft combine from Indianapolis? They're thinking about moving it. Thought that was kind of weird. It's like, why move it now? I guess so, man. I really do. I think it's weird though. I mean, I think it's just time for a change. I think that's what they're doing. I don't think there's nobody unhappy. I think that there's just time for a change. I'm guessing, but I mean, I wouldn't want to move it. They say in the beginning of 2023, annual scouting combine. They'll start the process for bidding, which is one of the prettiest arenas in the NFL, though. I don't know. It's just weird. So far, so good. A healthy Jadeveon Clowney is the key to a Browns defensive success. I mean, their defense is already good though, so I don't know how much him being healthy does for them. Oh yeah, I did hear that the Steelers cut DeCastro and added Trey Turner. It's kind of weird. Anybody else seen Odell rehabbing on that treadmill? Um, Record prediction: I think we'll win. I think it'd be 11 games. I think we can win 11 to 12. In all honesty, I think we can win 11 games for sure. I think we can win 11 games. Who are the surprise standouts from minicamp? Let's see what they're talking about here. Isaiah Hodgins for the Bills. Trill Williams, Dolphins. Josh Uche. CJ Mosley. Oh, wow. I mean, the Jets do stink. Sammy Watkins. Okay. Oh, he got separation from Humphrey and got a long touchdown reception from Lamar Jackson throwing the football. Lamar threw the football. That's what they're saying in this article. Ah. Big receiver, nice target, fast guy. Sim is going to make the job easier. Interesting. T. Higgins for the Bengals. Okay. The Browns, Tommy Togai. Nice. James Pierre. Charles Ominu. Interesting. Carson Wentz. Aha. How Wentz looked on the field wasn't the only important part of the offseason equation for the Colts' new starting quarterback. The other part was how he would fit in his teammates after reportedly not having a great relationship with his teammates while in Philly. The transition, according to those inside the organization, has been a smooth one. He comes and asks about my family, my sister, and things like that. Running back Naheem Hines said, as a new guy, it's pretty cool. And was on the field, he's turned a lot of heads so far. He's really deep ball. I said, I liked everything I've seen from him so far, Mike was. Look at that. See? Now that's I can make a video of. I can make a video about this article right here. So that's good to see. DeShone Kizer. I didn't even know he played for the Titans. Wow. I didn't even know he played for the Titans. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I definitely will keep this article in mind. Interesting. Anybody have any last questions before I get up out of here? It's been an hour. I appreciate you guys for tuning in too, though. We're going to go final roll call for questions, and then I'm going to go on about my day, eat my food, and chill out. Tim Tebow wasn't invited. That is funny. He wasn't invited to Titan University? Wow. Didn't see that coming. He wasn't invited. I mean, why would he be? He's not a real tight end. That means there wasn't enough room. Right. Over more experienced players, correct. If I can't invite every tight end, How do I not invite a second or third string guy on a team that's been playing tight end since he was 18 years old in high school? Nothing against him, Tebow. I hope he has an incredible success this year. I just hope he has. I hope he has 10 touchdowns. I hope he has a great year. But it's hard for me to invite someone to this just started playing a position when I can't invite a guy that's been playing it for 18 years. Makes sense, Kittle. Makes a lot of sense. Tim Tebow just got the position, and Ebron and then was talking about inviting him. Yeah, thanks, bro. See you. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to the Geo Gaming. How do you feel about the off season and the QBs? I like it. I'm glad we actually have an off season. To be honest, it's been a long drastic season. This off season's taken a while to actually go on. I'm actually looking forward to next year, but I'm excited. I'm actually excited, man. The potential is there. Sky's the limit. So I'm really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this, man. How's your day, Gio? How's your week, actually? It's good. It's good to hear. Never seen you around here before. Must be new. Who is your favorite football team? If you have one, if you're still listening. Who is your favorite football team? Please say the Colts. Please say the Colts. Please say the Colts. Ha! We got a winner. His favorite team is the Colts. Oh, yes. JT for 2K. Just kidding. Just kidding. What up, ColtsTalk? How you doing? How was your week? Not bad. You? My week was alright. Can't complain. That's good. It's been a rough for the Colts for the last 2 seasons. I mean, we've been pretty good. We made the playoffs. I mean, for a quarterback situation, I understand, but I mean, we've been all right. Yeah, see, I knew that's what you was about to mention. We've been searching for QBs and we have one. Yeah, man. Quarterback search was definitely a roller coaster. Uh, Phillip Rivers did pretty good last year, so wasn't really mad about that. But yeah, it definitely has been a wild one. Should I see you sometimes on Bring the Juice Coats podcast, and I think on Instagram all the time. Yep, that's where you can find me. I'm definitely on all those platforms. Yeah, I'd be on Bring the Juice. Those are my guys. Cody hit me up earlier actually to do his live stream, so I was on there. Appreciate you for finding me though. We lost Andrew. Yep, very depressing time. Very depressing time. I'll be seeing you on Instagram. I think I follow you though. I think I do. I follow a lot of content creators on there. He said I tried to DM them a few times on Instagram. They don't respond. They have 1.2K, so I don't know how they don't respond. They are very busy. They are very busy people. I mean, if they want something, they will find you for sure, though. But they are very busy content creators. They do a lot. So I mean, they barely respond to me. So I just wait for them that they need anything. I mean, they'll ask me, or occasionally they'll just hit me up out of nowhere and just see how I'm doing, or if I want to collab. So yeah, they'll find you. I mean, they are very busy. So and they don't really use Instagram like that. I noticed. I mean, they use it, but they don't really use it like how I use it. I use it pretty much every day. So, but they are very busy content creators. So I don't think they have their notifications on either. One time I sent them a message and it took them almost like 2 weeks to respond. But so yeah, they are very busy. I mean, if they did have their notice on, they'd probably be getting blown up. They're super popular. He is my favorite quarterback of all time. Mine is Peyton. So I mean, Andrew was nice, but wasn't my favorite quarterback of all time. We did hit the hour mark, so I'm gonna let you guys ask a few last questions before we get up out of here. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. I do stream every Friday, so next Friday I will be live around 5 p.m. Eastern. So you can tune into that. Be just chatting with Colts fans. If we find a topic or somebody gets signed, I will go live throughout the day or throughout the week whenever that notification happens. But every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, that's when I'm live. How do I feel about Kyle Granson? Love it. Love the kid. He's talented. Nice receiving tight end. That's a position that we needed. That's the guy that we needed, receiving tight end. Of course, we had Trey Burton, but Trey Burton, had inconsistencies. He was nice when he played, but I think he was inconsistent when it comes to catching the football. Run blocking wasn't the best at that either. You get a guy like Granson. He said he has to learn to block more. Of course, he understands that, but coming from college, he was a receiving tight end, and him coming into the Colts, that's what he's going to be doing. So I think he's going to be better than what we had with Trey Burton. So, do you think we'll win a Super Bowl? Of course. Sky's the limit. We can win the Super Bowl with this roster. We are contenders. I say if we do make the Super Bowl and win it, it'll be a Cinderella story like with the Giants and how they won it. That's how our story will end out. But I think we do have a chance of winning it for sure. We do have a chance of winning it. We're contenders. Every contender has a chance to win. It's not wrong for me to think that way. Of course, some people think otherwise, but it's all good. He reminds me a little bit of Clark if you watched him at all. Yeah, yeah, I've watched him. I mean, but that's college ball, though. I mean, is that going to transpire to the NFL? It's grown men out there. I think it'll be a little different, but I definitely think he's a good receiver, a good target for tight ends. I think he'll do well, especially in the system that we run. Carson Wentz better have a good season. Sheesh. So it's pretty demanding, don't you think? It's going to take a while for Carson. I'll tell you that now. It'll probably take a while for him to get the wings under him, but I think he'll be fine. So try not to go in with high hopes. Aim low. I pray for consistency more than anything when it comes to Carson Wentz. All right. He has Frank Wright? Yeah, he sure does. I think Carson will be fine, though. I think he'll be fine. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I am starving. Lawrence should be live soon, so check out Lawrence Owen. Whenever you get a chance, let me see if I can, send you guys there. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I know I can send you. Because you're gonna let me do it. No, it's not. But you guys check out this guy's channel. You guys don't go anywhere. Just give me a second. He's actually live. Okay. You guys click that link. You guys check that out. Show him some support. He was just in here. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is Marcus, and until next time, you've been Culture Shocked. See you guys. Video dropping tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.